not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
To listening public here in Nevis, those in St. Kitts, those in the wider Caribbean. Good evening in particular to our friends and family in the United States and Canada and in the United Kingdom. We know we have regular listeners all across the world. Good evening to everyone. My name is Mark Brantley and I am welcoming you to another edition of On the Mark, straight talk across the Narrows. Every Wednesday we are here on VON Radio, the voice of Nevis, as we seek to discuss matters that we think are of interest to you. And of course, sometimes we put things on the table. You call in when the phone's open and you put your own issues on the table. This is in every sense your show, and we are here to have this show every Wednesday and 2 hours of primetime talk radio. It's the only show of its kind which is commercial free, and we are able to do that through the kindness all these 15 years of the law firm of Daniel Brantley. We do appreciate them for sponsoring the show all these years and for the contribution that they have made and continue to make to freedom of speech in our country. There are lots of issues here, lots happening. Let me start by thanking, of course, the organizers of the St. Kitts Music Festival. I think they did a phenomenal job this year, and to bring it back with a bang, I am to thank our brothers and sisters in St. Kitts for hosting so many from Nevis. In fact, I saw the numbers just today from NASPA here in Nevis and from the Charleston port and from our water taxi pier combined. Some 8,049 people traveled on the weekend to St. Kitts and back, and I think that is simply phenomenal. It just shows the level to which Nevisians support the music festival and White Sands. And of course, we expect to see similar movements for Culturama, and we expect to see similar movements for an event that's coming up this very weekend. And I think that's a good segue to introduce my guest. I have with me none other than the Chief Executive Officer of the Nevis Tourism Authority, Mr. Devon Libert. And Mr. Devon Libert is here to talk to us about this great event that's happening this weekend and to invite all of you who are listening, particularly our brothers and sisters from St. Kitts, to hop on the boat and come over and be a part of this event. So Devon, welcome to On the Mark, and I hand things over to you.
Good evening, Mr. Brantley, and thank you for having me to talk a little about the Nevis Mango Festival. We're excited that this year, after a 2-year break, we've been able to put together some activities to mark that festival that we all so much enjoy here on St. Kitts and Nevis, the Nevis Mango Festival. And this weekend is going to be held from Friday, the 1st of July, until Sunday, the 3rd of July. And we're excited because of the number of activities that we have, the change, the new venues that we have, the varieties of activities that we have for this festival. So on July 1st, Friday, from about 1 o'clock until 6, 7 in the evening, the activities are going to be launched at the Agriculture Case Bay Fruit Orchard. And here we're going to have a brief opening ceremony. We're going to have a mango tasting event by the Agriculture Department. And for the first time in the life of the Mango Festival, we've added an activity that is going to be the life and the energy of the afternoon, and that is a mango eating competition. And after we would have had that mango eating competition, we're going to go into mixologist bartenders competition. And for this bartenders competition, we have 4 of our young mixologists in Nevis: Brandon Cox, Cameron David Curvan Wallace, and a young lady, Ashan Tyson, and they will be competing for the best mango cocktail for 2022. We're excited that the Agriculture Ministry and Department have joined with us again. They're one of our main partners in putting off the Mango Festival, and they will be there with a stock bar. They'll have the grills going with fish, chicken, pork, whatever you so desire, and there will be some musical entertainment at that event. For all this, you just need to pay a mere $5 to get you in on the grounds at the Cades Bay Fruit Orchard. So I want everybody to start the weekend off with this exciting event on Friday, again at the Agricultural Fruit Orchard over there at Cades Bay. And then on Saturday, the 2nd of July, we've termed this as an easy breezy mango Saturday. And what we would have done over the past couple of years, we want our folks in St. Kitts and Nevis to discover some of the unique off the beaten track restaurants and bars on the island of Nevis. And we've chosen about 10 of them. And we want folks to register at Nevis Tourism Authority, where you'll be able to get a map, the direction, and the address of these places where you can go and discover and visit at your own leisure and pace and sample some of the dishes that they have on Nevis. I know some of the best food that you can get is when you go into the villages, go among the moms and the pops eateries. So we're offering our patrons, the Nevisians, the Kittitians, and our visitors that opportunity to discover some of those restaurants. And this is going to be at your leisure, beginning about midday. And the menu items are not going to be specifically mango infused. It's just the general Saturday mango dishes that they'll have available. So we encourage folks to sign up, and it is hoped that we can encourage as many persons as possible to participate in this event. And we hope that at the end of the process, we have a system in place where we will try to identify the top person who would have visited most of the restaurants, and we have a gift basket for that individual. So we encourage you, in order for you to be part of that, you'll have to sign up and collect a package from the Nevis Tourism Authority. On the evening of Saturday, we have a chef that is coming in from Trinidad, Chef Bridget Joseph. And Chef Bridget Joseph is going to present what we call a supper club. It's a curated dining experience. I am not certain if anyone would have had that experience before. But this event is going to be held at 7 p.m. at Catchit at Revere on Government House. And Chef Bridget, along with the chefs at Catchit, would have come up with a 4-course meal. And what the dining experience is all about, what the supper club experience is all about, is that at the beginning of each course, before you get into eating the various courses, Chef Bridget is going to introduce the course, what you're about to eat, what are some of the ingredients included there, and the inspiration behind that particular course. And once that introduction is done, then everyone will be welcome to partake in that particular course. And this will be done for all of the 4 courses. At the end of the process, we're going to wrap up the evening with a discussion with Chef Bridget. You learn a bit more about Chef Bridget, her inspiration to becoming a chef, her journey towards to where she is. So it's an experience that we want everybody to be there for. It's not that you come for 8 or you come for 9. You have to be there from 7 o'clock and be there to experience the full delivery of the meal. Again, this event is going to be 100 US, and tickets are available directly from Catch It at Revere House, and we want as many persons to participate in this one. If you have any issues in relation to acquiring ticket, you can contact us at the Nevis Tourism Authority. And then on Sunday is our big day, the main activity of the Nevis Mango Food, the Mango Festival. This has been the #1 activity that we have all have anticipated over the years. This is the activities where we get droves of Kittitians coming over. This is the activity where we get lots of Nevisians participating. This is the activity where we get lots of the tourists on the island participating, and this event is dubbed For the Love of Mangoes, and it's going to be held at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, and it's going to be from 1 p.m. in the afternoon until 8 in the evening. So again, for this particular event, we have I think it's about 23 of our local chefs who will be preparing their best and most inspired mango dish, and these dishes will be available for samples by the patrons. We also have a chef cooking competition. We have a team from St. Kitts and a team from Nevis taking part in this cooking competition. We have a master chef demonstration, a master class by Chef Bridget, and again we're inviting folks to sign up for this master class. There are going to be a number of zones at that particular event. We're going to have a mango wellness zone, so there exists the possibility of you coming and be able to have demonstrated one of the creation of one of our artisans, a mango scrub, for example, or a 10 minutes massage using some sort of a mango oil. There's another zone that we're going to have, and that's an educational zone, because we thought that coming to a mango festival and not being able to learn about the attributes, the how healthy, how nutritious mango is, it's not worth it. So we have created this zone where you can come learn about mangoes, learn about some of the things that you can do with mangoes, learn, ask some questions as it relates that to the various types of mangoes and so forth. So we're offering our patrons the opportunity to partake in the festival in this way. And of course, we're going to have our festival store. We have a lot of our agro-processors who do mango sauces, mango pepper sauce, mango jams, mango chutneys, and those mango soups, those sort of products. We're going to have them available for sale, and we want folks to come out and just be able to patronize the local folks who have been creative and come up with all of these mango products. For this Sunday event, this year we've decided that we want as many persons to be present and to partake in the activities of that afternoon. And what we've come up with a number of tiers of tickets that are available for you to get in and sample the various dishes and so forth. So we have a tier beginning at $50 EC, and this would allow you 5 samples. We have a tier for $75 EC, and this would allow you 10 samples, and we have a tier for $100 EC, and this would allow you 15 samples. And we can guarantee you that even if you have the $100, which allow you 15 samples, that you would want to go to the chit booth and purchase some additional chits so that you can continue to sample the various dishes that are available. And that is the confidence that we have in the Mango Festival, the Sunday for the Love of Mangoes. This year, we're happy to welcome some of our sponsors to the event. We have the Bank of Nevis International sponsoring for the first time. We have MSR Media, St. Kitts and Nevis West Indies Limited sponsoring for the first time. We have Rams, who have been with us for a number of years. We are always happy to have them on board. We have Carib, who have come on board, and we are also just between yesterday and this morning, we have digital who have decided to partner with us. So it's going to be an exciting event. We want to invite all of the Nevis and all of St. Kitts to come on out and enjoy the festivities of this weekend, the Mango Festival. We want it to be just as exciting as the music festival that has just gone. So we crave your participation. We crave your involvement. We know how much Kittitians and Nivisians love mangoes, and we want to present this opportunity. That's why we have presented this opportunity whereby you can not just eat the mango in its natural format, but you can experience some of the ways you can use mangoes in your daily life. So again, we want everybody to come on out and support the Nevis Mango Festival. You can find more information on www.nevismangofest or www.nevisnaturally, and on our Facebook, Nevis Mango Fest, our Twitter page, and Instagram, Nevis Mango Fest, and our Nevis Naturally social media handle.
Okay, Mr. Liebert, you've given us a lot of information in terms of what's happening for the Nevis Mango Festival. I think we should add that this, of course, is the comeback festival, because we couldn't have it during COVID, and so we are back, and hopefully back with a bang. I think that, as you say, we all love mangoes. It is almost a national fruit, because we all enjoy it, and Nevis is quite famous for its mangoes. I know that our brothers and sisters in St. Kitts especially enjoy the Nevis mangoes, and so I certainly encourage them all to come over, take the water taxi, take the boat. The events are spread across the weekend. Come and stay for the weekend if you can, and if you can't, certainly come over and be a part of it, especially on Sunday, where we're having that big, almost like a food fair.
Yes.
And it's all about mango. I'm happy to hear that we have chefs and mixologists, we have different people involved, and so I think that people can look forward to a really, really good time for the Nevis Mango Festival. So thank you, Devon. Thank you for all that you've been doing, and thank you for you and the team who have put this exciting weekend of events together to celebrate mangoes here on the island of Nevis.
Thanks for having me, Mr. Brantley, and wish you well for the remainder of the show.
All right. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Devon Liebert, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nevis Tourism Authority, telling us about mangoes and all things mango that's happening here on the island of Nevis this weekend. Devon is taking his leave, and so you're stuck with me now for the rest of the time. So we're going to be having a chat with you. I'm trying to pull up something here on my phone, because I was given some some instructions here to mention on air a particular event, and so let me mention this, that the Nevis Association of South Florida is presenting their annual Family Fun Day. It's going to be Saturday, July 2nd. That's this Saturday. They say come hang out with us, a day of fun with family and friends. It will be at the TY Park, and that's at 3350 North Park Road, Hollywood, Florida, shelter number 3. You can call Nigel, my good friend and classmate, at 305-297-3089. You can call the beautiful Avo at 954-873-3026, or you can call the equally beautiful Vida at 561-294-8753. Let me just say that again. The Nevis Association of South Florida. Let me take my mask off. I have no guests now, so I can be alone without my mask. So the Nevis Association of South Florida presents their annual Family Fun Day, Saturday, July 2nd, 2022, starting at midday until 6:30. Come hang out with us. A day of fun with family and friends at the TY Park, 3350 North Park Road, Hollywood, Florida, 33024, shelter number 3. Call Nigel, 305-297-3089, Avo, 954-873-3026, or Vida, 561-294-8753. Please go out and support. They do excellent work in supporting Nivisians at home and abroad. And we pay homage and say kudos to all of these various groups. We have them in New York, we have them in Washington, D.C., we have them in Florida. In fact, we have them all over. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Liebert at the NTA had asked to have some time on the show. We know that it's a big platform that is widely listened to, and so I offered him the time before I got into the meat of my show. I wanted to really say on his departure that my heart goes out to the Liebert family, Mr. Joseph Liebert and the entire family, on the confirmed loss of my brother and friend Trevi Liebert. Trevi was somebody who was very, very close to me, somebody whom I knew well, and it is truly sad that he is now gone. Last week when I was here, we were struck by the news that he was missing, and unfortunately the worst fears have come to realization, and his body has been discovered. And so we have lost a young man, I think, who was so full of promise, a young man who was so absolutely capable and absolutely competent in everything that he did, somebody who lived well with everyone. And the outpouring that we have seen on social media, in the highways and byways of Nevis, tells us that Trevi lived a good life and he was loved by all. The family has sent me a note that I hope I can do justice to, and I read: the immediate family of Trevi Liebert wishes to express a huge thank you to all who assisted in any way whatsoever during the search for him between Wednesday 22nd June to Monday 27th June. To the divers, the boaters, the drone operators, the pilot who flew over for 3 consecutive days, the backhoe operators, and all who joined in searching the beach area from early morning to late in the evening, we say a hearty thank you. To the multitude at home and in the wider diaspora who offered prayers to God, showed concern, provided water, food, and drinks for the search teams, or for just reaching out with an encouraging word, we are grateful. Thanks to the Almighty for bringing closure to this unfortunate tragedy. Again, we say a big thank you to all. I assured my good friend Joseph Liebert that I would say this on air because I wanted to share with the family in expressing the appreciation to all who really have lent support. Oftentimes in times of tragedy, we see our people come together like never before. Divisions can sometimes get at each other. We can sometimes be at loggerheads, especially in politics, in the church, you name it. But oftentimes we see our people pulling together, and I think the tragedy that befell Trevi is one such example. And the family has tonight expressed publicly their appreciation to all who helped in some way. And I would want to extend to the family my ongoing condolences at their loss. It really has been a tremendous loss to them and to us all. Let me also express condolences on the loss of Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Paul Lawrence of Ramsbury for many years. He died some time ago. He'll be laid to rest shortly. But I want to express my condolences to his family. His son David was my very, very good friend at school and remains a very close friend of mine. I know that he and the other family members are now at home. I want to express condolences to his wife as well, who survives him, and to thank them for the contribution that Mr. Lawrence would have made. I know where I'm concerned, he was a constant source of encouragement, a very scholarly individual, and certainly he will be missed. There are many others who have lost loved ones, and sometimes I pray that you don't get upset with me if I don't get information right away. But I would certainly like to lend my own condolences to all of those who might be mourning, those who are suffering in some way. And as I like to say, may the prayers of the multitude comfort you in your hour of bereavement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. There's a lot that is happening. There's a lot of politics that's in the air. The political parties are out. They are seeking your support. My advice, as always, is to examine us carefully. I am among the number who are seeking support, so examine us carefully. There are some who are newcomers, and to the newcomers, of course, it means that you will have to examine them to determine if they are up to scratch, if they are up to the task. There are others who have been there for some time, and you must examine them to determine if they are capable of doing the work based on the record that they've had in government. I believe that the Concerned Citizens Movement that I'm privileged to lead at this point in our history has presented a team for the federal election which is honest, a team which is competent, and most importantly, a team that is committed to the people of Nevis. I do not say that lightly, nor do I take the trust and the confidence of the people of Nevis lightly. But I believe that our actions demonstrate that our first, second, and final loyalty, our commitment is with the people of Nevis. Why do I say that? The answer is very simple. We could have gone to St. Kitts and we could have gone ahead and played the silly games that are being played over there in Bastille. We could have been like some, and everything that Timothy Harris said, we said, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. Whatever he said, we jump up and clapped and tell him that he's the best thing since sliced bread. But when we recognize that despite our agitation, despite our constant efforts to get him to change course, to get him to treat the people of Nevis as they ought to be treated as equal citizens of this country, we could not continue with him. And so we indicated to him, along with our colleagues from PAM, that we were no longer willing to travel that road with him as the leader. His response, predictable as it was to say, if it's not me, then I'm going to mash it up. And that is all right, because our people will now have an opportunity to determine whether that is what they want, or whether instead they want government that is responsive, sober, and sensible. Government that is prepared to listen, and most importantly, government that understands that it has its commitment and obligation to all the people of our country, not just some, but all. For far too long, we have seen leadership in Bastille that perceives itself as the leader of St. Kitts, and the people of Nevis as not mattering, not having any relevance to the Federation. We thought that Timothy Harris would have been different. We remember the lofty speeches he made in Nevis when he says his father is from Cotton Ground. Cotton Ground, he claims, as the birthplace of his father. And so, we felt with somebody who had an umbilical cord stretching to Nevis that there might be some greater appreciation and understanding that he ought to be the Prime Minister for all, not just for some. Alas, we came to understand that when he said family on the platform, he really meant his family, his friends and close associates, and that they have been involved in sucking the very lifeblood of the country. And that the people of Nevis, we are told, ought not to get, and if we demand, then something is wrong with us, that we will be treated fairly. Fair share has become the mantra. It has become the language of this election, because we are saying that all of our people demand a fair share, fair treatment in their own country. It cannot be fair that Timothy Harris and Timothy Harris alone decides who can get some relief through the poverty alleviation program, that he and he alone decides which youngsters can be afforded the opportunity to be steered away from a life of crime through the alternative lifestyle or peace program. He and he alone decides which youngster can get a starting position on the STEP program. And he continues to use the resources generated by the Citizenship by Investment program for his purposes and his purposes alone. I believe it is a matter of tremendous regret that the people here in Nevis, in a time of rising oil prices globally, in a time of rising prices generally, that we are being hit with large fuel surcharges. We are being hit with a fuel surcharge not because the government doesn't care, not because NEVLEC doesn't care, but because of the galloping oil prices internationally. And so long as we continue to generate oil from fossil fuels, we generate electricity, from fossil fuels, generate electricity from diesel. We will continue to be buffeted back and forth by global prices that are outside our control. And so, it is a matter of tremendous regret that our citizenship by investment money is being used to cushion the impact on St. Kitts, protect the Kittitian consumer from the ravages of the fuel surcharge. But here in Nevis we have no such luxury because we have been denied our fair share from those proceeds. I want our people to start to think and not just listen to me or listen to whoever is speaking, but to think for yourself, to research and to read, and to understand that for the past 7 years, the Citizenship by Investment Program has generated billions of dollars, and that is with a B, billions of dollars. And we here on the island of Nevis are constantly being told that we ought to be satisfied. We get the crumbs, and they say to us, what you making noise for? They say to me, you must account for the crumbs that you've got. But the lion's share of the pie that goes to St. Kitts, there's no account for that. In fact, many of us, even those of us who are in the cabinet, have no idea what is being done with the citizenship by investment monies, for the simple reason that every time we sought information we couldn't get. One excuse after another after another. Information on the citizenship by investment program. How is it doing its performance? Information on the STEP program, the Peace program, the PAP. I believe that the people of Nevis and the people of the wider federation who are of goodwill, and I emphasize that because sometimes people say it's a St. Kitts versus Nevis. I don't accept that. I was in St. Kitts just this weekend and the hospitality was amazing. I was home. I wasn't in St. Kitts, I was home. It's part of my country. And when Kittitians come over in their numbers for the Mango Festival this weekend and for Culturama, they will be home. This is their country. And I think we need to reorient our thinking and start to see it as that. This is not a Nevis versus St. Kitts or St. Kitts versus Nevis issue. This is an issue of fairness, of what is right. And anybody who keeps telling us that $1 to Nevis is $1 less for St. Kitts is not seeking fairness, is not seeking to do what is right. That individual is seeking to divide us. And a man who seeks to divide the land of his father from the land of his mother, something is wrong with that man. That is what has been happening. So we hear these foolish arguments. If I send $1 to Nevis, it's $1 less for St. Kitts. It's a zero-sum game, but that is not the truth. The truth is that what Nevis is saying, don't send us $1. Send us $1 less for St. Kitts. Send us our 25 cents and let St. Kitts keep its 75 cents. Send us our share. And the share is a simple mathematical exercise. If citizenship by investment makes 500 million and the expenses are 100 million, then you have 400 million left. Give Nevis its 25%, that's the 100 million. St. Kitts keeps 300. What is so difficult about that? But you see, there is a view held by Timothy Harris and others like him that the people of Nevis ought to be kept back. That we ought to sit in the back of the bus because somehow we are less than. We are not quite full citizens in this country. And if you're from Brownhill or you're from Brown Pasture, then you are somehow less than somebody who's from Tabernacle or Keon. And I'm saying that what we need in Bastia, what we need in Church Street is leadership that understands its role. Leadership that brings people together, not seeks to divide people. Now I've heard Timothy Harris in his waning days as the first Prime Minister to have been kicked out of office in this fashion say all manner of things about myself, about Sean Richards, about others. I'm told he has used some choice words to describe us, and I reflect. And I say, the old people here say, sorry for Marga dog, it turn around bite you. And it is so true. Because when Denzel Douglas cast him out and relegated him to the scrap heap of political history, it was PAM and CCM that picked him up. Said, Lord, poor you, Timo, poor you. dust him off, and made him somebody. He was a reject, and we dusted him off. And he said to us that having been in labor for 18 years in the belly of labor, he came out and he said, Douglas is a bad man, Douglas is this, Douglas is that. And he said he had learnt what not to do. And we said, Lord, Timo, you don't look good on that dumb heap at all. Lord, look where Douglas throw you over and Connery dump. Look where he put you down at the dump in Long Point. Lord, Timo, you don't look good on that dumb heap at all. We pick him up, wash his skin with quailene and what they call the thing, discipline, to make sure he smell better because he just come off the dump. Made him somebody. And we have lived long enough to hear the man attack us and refer to us in most unfortunate language, and all I could register in my mind, sorry for Marga dog, turn around bite you. Well, sometimes that's the case, but would be foolish of us to allow the Marga dog to bite twice. And so I am here tonight with one simple thing, that when the bell is rung, and it has to be rung soon, one thing I'm sure of, we will have a new Prime Minister in Church Street, and it will not be Timothy Harris. It's as simple as that. Because ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. You know, in 2020, after the election, I said to the team, let us change direction. CCM said that we had seen enough from Timothy Harris, that we understood he was not right for the country. He was all of self and none of thee. He used and abused everybody, belittled everybody, undermined everybody. We said, let us not go down that road again. There were others who had a different view. And so we said, all right, at the end of the day, in a democracy, the majority view is the view that prevails. And so I don't mind if Timothy were to attack me, because a long time I say he had to go. So that's all right. One thing about CCM, we know, and we stand up, and we say principle is principle. And when we form a view, we form the view. So we made that position clear. We said he had to go. So if he attacks me, that is all right. But Lord, when I see him attacking Sean Richards, I see him attacking Pam, I said ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. You all remember who stood with Timothy when he was sworn in? I'm going to tell you all a little story tonight, because this is politics now. We must talk the things. You know, when Timothy Harris was sworn in, the Saturday afternoon, I believe it was, the cabinet secretary called me. And she said to me, Timothy wants to be sworn in. I said, well, how are we going to be sworn in? That time we're still waiting for results for Eugene Hamilton. We're still waiting for results from the fellow there from Newtown. What the Newtown people said him number one. Patches. I said, how? You have soldiers out in the field. How are you going to go and get sworn in with soldiers still out in the field? But you see, I understood what was happening. He wanted to present us with a fait accompli, that he was Prime Minister again, because that is all that mattered to him. Self-aggrandizement and power. Nothing else. And I tell them, not me. Me now left Nevis and put on no clothes to go to government headquarters to swear in no Prime Minister when we still have people out on the battlefield. Patches fell short. Eugene came through narrowly over Dr. Drew. And the next day, I heard, it was my wife who rushed into the bedroom and said, are you aware that the swearing is happening? So I started to call. And if I'm wrong, is what they told me, Alexis Jeffers, elected member for number 11, wasn't aware of any swearing. Eric Evelyn, elected member for number 10, wasn't aware of any swearing. John L. Paul, elected member for number 2, wasn't aware of any swearing. Lindsey Grant, elected member for number 4, wasn't aware of any swearing. The same Eugene Hamilton, the elected member for number 8, he wasn't aware of any swearing. The man who went with Timothy Harris up in government headquarters, you all don't take my word for it, go and watch a film, was Sean Richards. Sean Richards stood with Timothy, even when others were saying, not Timothy. And so, when I look and see that he has reserved a special type of venom for Sean, I said, this man is to keep from. this man is to keep from. Because if there was one person of the entire team who stood with him, who supported him through thick and thin, it was Sean. Sean. And Sean has said to me, listen, I kept my promise. That was his position. So when I hear now, oh, Sean Mumu, Sean this, Sean is a vagabond, I don't mind if you call me Mumu and vagabond, you know. Because one thing about the sheriff know how to remove prime ministers. I've done it before and I will do it again this coming election. So don't worry about me. But when you turn and vent on Sean, and I'm not here to defend Sean, I'm merely using it so the people understand the level of humanity that we're dealing with. The low level of humanity that we're dealing with. People who pick you up. Use Quailene to take off the mange off of you. Because Douglas done put you on Connery dump. And made you somebody that you could walk around the world with your big belly and say, I am the Prime Minister of this country. We did that for you. But now, chastise me. Because that is not the same thing for me. But Sean stood with you. Stood with you. When you turn your back on him and start to call him and how he this and how he that. I saw a clip this afternoon somebody sent me where Timothy went down in a church in Sandy Point and said, Sean is going to be the next Prime Minister. I'm going to see to it. So you didn't know all the time that he was a vagabond? And that he mumu? No. Because at the time, Sean was supportive of you. But the minute Sean said to you that you're going down the wrong road, the minute Sean said to you that, listen, yes, I'm supportive of you, but to be a supporter of people and to be genuine, you must sometimes correct them and tell them when they're going down the wrong path. Sean saw what was happening, and he and I both sought to correct the path. Let us do things differently. All of a sudden, Sean is every bad thing in the world. When more than any other human being in this world, it is Sean Richards why you got a second term. And I said bluntly, Sean Richards, if there's one human being that you ought to be grateful for eternally, it is Sean Richards. As I said, say what you want about me, because long time me tell them let go your line. Long time I said to them, let go that line, because he means no good for this country and no good for the people of Nevis. So when I hear that, I said again to the third time for the night, sorry for Marga dog, turn around and bite you. Sorry, because after you on the scrap heap, people pick you up, clean you up, dress you up, buy you a new suit, give you a little cologne, or maybe you use perfume, I don't know, get you a little haircut, make you somebody. You got the heart to say you cuss people. Go out, of course, and campaign. I have no difficulty. It is a matter for the public and the electorate ultimately to decide. But do not kick down the ladder that you walked upon. That is why I have said, and I continue to maintain, team unity was a beautiful idea. I am happy and I will defend it, because I think it was the best political idea that we've had since independence. But some, like Timothy Harris, use the idea for personal advancement and self-aggrandizement. It was never about the ideals, because no sooner they got in office than they abandoned the ideals and started to think about them and family. And it brings me now to the big issue in this election. Fair share is the issue, but an issue has emerged now, and that issue is sucking up the oxygen in the room, and the issue is the Harris jail. The Harris jail, and everybody now is saying somebody going to jail in that jail. The Harris jail is Timo's jail, or Timultaneous as I like to call him. Timultaneous. What them said, Paul Keynes Douglas said the child name was? Theophilus Timultanus Titus Thomas. You hear that? Theophilus Timultanus Titus Thomas. That's what them christened the child. Well, I am calling him Timultaneous. And I am saying that the approach that he has taken with this jail is one that is scandalous. Now hear the argument, oh, they were in cabinet when the jail was approved. Well, I was also in cabinet when we approved water for the people of Keon. So let me ask Keon people, you all get the water yet? And I will answer for you, no. I was in cabinet when the Bastia High School was approved. Let me ask the parents and students, have you got the BHS yet? The answer is no. And incidentally, since all cabinet business look like it's public business, so let me say this, that he was one of the biggest obstacles to the Bastia High School starting. Because up to recently when we were still in the cabinet and the issue came about insurance, he kept saying, oh, get a quote from there, get a quote from there, go back, and eventually say, oh, we must go with national insurance. These are the facts. Delayed. Did we approve universal health insurance? Yes, that was put in the hands of Eugene Hamilton. Not a thing has happened. Did we approve a ganja industry, marijuana, sensimilia, the herb, whatever you want to call it, kush? Yes. What has happened with that? That was put with the AG. Well, you know, you put something with he when you want it to die. Nothing. All of a sudden, this jail now get pulled out of the bag. And the jail is the biggest thing. Started in the dead of night. Let me ask you all something. You all know Timothy Harris. You all ever hear Timothy Harris start any big project without fanfare? If Timothy Harris is going to put down a sidewalk, he must have an opening ceremony with food. He must have a groundbreaking with food. And when the sidewalk finishes, he must have a ribbon cutting. And yes, you guessed it, right? With food. That is his modus operandi. So how come this jail start and nobody know nothing? Let me speak proper English. This jail start and nobody knows anything. If it wasn't for Sean Richards gone up there with some phone and say he's doing a live, Sinkers people wouldn't know that the jail start, you know. The jail start, and let us examine the jail. They say the jail is 300 rooms. Now, as far as I'm aware, what the cabinet considered wound up in the budget. And if you looked in the budget documents for 2021, I'll try to find it here. The budget documents for 2021 had the jail in that document. And the jail in that document, in that budget document for 2021, was under project head, project number 06051. The project number for the prison, 0605119, construction of a new correctional facility. The estimated total cost, I'm reading from our budget of December 2021, a budget presented by Timothy Harris as Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, a budget that was supported by the members on the government side. That budget had in it a project number 0605119, project name, construction of new correctional facility. Total estimated cost, 88 million EC dollars. Now, why is that important? That is important because that was the cost of the jail. 88 million EC dollars. So you must ask yourself this question. If the jail is 88 million EC dollars, and if we say that the alternative investment program that is under the citizenship by investment is at 175,000 US per passport. 175,000 US times 2.7 is 472,000 EC dollars. If you divide 88 million divided by 472,000, you only have to get 186 passports to cover the prison. You hear me? 186 passports is what you needed to get to $88 million. Alright? People have to make a profit, we understand that. Their expenses and agents, we understand all that. And so if you say, we don't have to give the people the 186, let us give them a bit more. Let us be generous and double it. My goodness gracious, let us be even more generous and triple it. You realize, if you move from the 186, let me pull out my calculator again. 186 passports times 175,000. 186 passports times 175,000. That gives you 32,550,000 US times 2.7, 88 million EC dollars. So if you said to them, you know something, 186, we know you have to make a profit. Multiply that by 3. We still only have 558 passports. If you say, man, listen, I want to be extra generous to these people. I want to be extra generous. 186 passports is what they really need. Multiply it by 10. You get 1,860. I am asking the question because that question is still not answered up to now. How a prison estimated in our budget, an official document, produced by Timothy Harris and his technocrats, for 88 million EC dollars, reach to 5,500 shares. 5,500 times 175,000 US dollars equals 962,500,000 US times 2.7 give you 2.5 billion EC. Well, my good gracious, how you get from 88 million EC to 2.5 billion EC? 27 times. That's what I hear them say. 27 times. God, the math's too hard for me. How you get it done? And we are being told, oh, it's not going to cost the government a cent. What kind of rubbish argument are we hearing? It is not costing the government in the sense that the government is paying that out of the treasury. But that is trite. That is not even an argument worth making. A kindergartner wouldn't make that argument. The example I've used is this. If you have a car, a motor car, at home right now, and you need medical attention, but you do not have the money to pay the doctor, and you say to the doc, I don't have the money, take the car, sell the car. The money you get from the car, use that money to treat me. Well, you're right when you say I did not pay cash. It didn't come out of my bank account. But is it right to say that you did not pay for your treatment? What is happening here is that the passport of our country, which says on it, passport of St. Christopher and Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis, is being handed over to some Chinese developers. 5,500 of them. That is all that the shares mean. Let me break it down. 5,500. The law says that they should be sold at 175,000 US each. So we take our passport, which is our patrimony, our property. We hand it to the Chinese. The Chinese sell it and the Chinese build a jail. Well, what do you mean it don't cost us anything? It is our passport. It is our passport. And the fact that we are prepared to take 5,500. You hear what I tell you? Now if a family of 4, for example, gets a share and through that share can get citizenship in the country. You realize that the 5,500 ain't really 5,500, you know. You got to start to multiply that now by 3 and 4 and 5. So you're talking about 20,000, 30,000 new citizens. And so when they say it doesn't cost a red cent, what do they mean by that? It is yet again an example of the level of deception that is employed. Because you are, just like my example of the car, giving up an asset which is your passport, saying, negotiate with this asset, and what you get, bill this for me. Take the car, sell it, and the money, treat my medical condition. Here, take these passports, sell them, bill a jail. That is what is happening. And I want our people to be conscious and cognizant and ask the hard questions. Why is the jail the priority? Don't tell me nothing about what cabinet approved, because cabinet approved a lot of other things that have not come to fruition. Why the jail? Why was it started in the dead of night? No fanfare. You don't want anybody to know. Who are the people who are going to be benefiting from this jail? Who are the contractors? Who are the subcontractors? Who providing the blocks? Who providing the security? Most importantly, who is doing the processing of the passports? Got big money in that. And when you start to peer behind that curtain now, you start to see Harris, 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 Harris again. Harris again. Harris again. Family, friends. That is what you start to see. Then you start to understand that this project ain't about providing some new rehabilitation facility for offenders and commitment to international norms and international obligations of St. Kitts and Nevis. No! It's about money. Money. M-O-N-E-Y. That is what it's about. And the reason that's gone from 88 million to 2.5 billion is that there has to be enough money in there for all of those who are going to feed from that trough. You think this is for you? To benefit you? No. Now I look at this thing, you know, as a division. And somebody made a comment on social media, and I said to myself, you know what? It's a comment of the century. Because at 2.5 billion EC dollars for one jail, that is more than 6 times the amount of money that Nevis has got from CBI in 7 years. Let that sink in for a moment. Because you have some of them running up here in Nevis parroting what their paymaster Timothy is telling them to parrot. Let that sink in for a moment, divisions. That one jail in St. Kitts at 2.5 billion is 6 times more than what Nivisions received over the course of 7 years. You hear me? Because we got $400 million in 7 years. And they say we should be grateful. But that and all is too much for us. What am I ball for? Mark and them greedy. That is what we're being told. But one jail, that means a jail is worth more than the whole of Nevis. A jail is worth more than the 13,000+ people that live on Nevis. That is what it means. 2.5 billion on a jail, 400 million over 7 years for Nevis. And we should not criticize it. I heard the most ludicrous argument being advanced. That because I am saying that this prison project is wrong, it should not be a priority at this time. Our priority right now should be recovering from the COVID-19 pandemic, getting the economy back on track, investing in our young people, training, sporting facilities, youth skills, providing jobs. That should be our objective, improving healthcare, improving education. They say now that I am destroying the Citizenship by Investment program, and that other regional countries that are engaged in the same business are concerned that my comments are destroying the program because people are listening. I say, oh, so people just start to listen? So when Dr. Timothy Harris said of the same program that Douglas was selling passport like black pudding. Nobody was listening then. You all remember that comment? He said Douglas was selling our passport like black pudding. Well, if Douglas was selling them like black pudding, he's now selling them like sugar cake. He now selling them like sugar cake because 5,500 passport, well, not even 5,500 passport, 5,500 shares, because I'm understanding from one share, a whole family of 4 could get citizenship. But we must not say anything about it. Put differently, we must allow this scam to go ahead. Because if we say the obvious, that with JNF in the condition that it is in, with Basse High School not yet built, with the people of Keon and other parts of St. Kitts still can't get water, and I'm only dealing with St. Kitts, I haven't come to Nevis, with the people of Nevis still can't get a fair share, that with all the issues that our country confronts, that a $2.5 billion jail is the priority of Timothy Harris. And we must not speak about that because we're mashing up the program. Well, I'm here to tell you that as foreign minister of this country for the past 7 years, I repaired our diplomatic relations with the United States and Canada. We may not have got back visa-free to Canada, but that is not for want of effort. And even though we did not get back the visa-free, I repaired that relationship. We opened a High Commission in Ottawa for the first time in our history. Put a competent High Commissioner there. And we are well on the way to being the most respected in terms of our diplomatic efforts. Say what you want about me. Call me all the names you want, but there was never ever one whiff of scandal from this country when Mark Brantley was foreign minister. Never beg nobody for shoes, never beg nobody for watch, because whatever shoes and watch I have, I pay for them. No scandal, no bad press for 7 years. And I hold that as a badge of honor because I restored, with the help of the most competent team, Ms. Kebas and the entire team in the foreign ministry, we restored the good name of St. Kitts Nevis. So now, with that track record, of course, I've earned the right to speak when things are being done to tarnish the name. You think America, them not looking at the fact that the Chinese, them have 5,500 shares to build a jail? You think them now watch it? You think they need me to tell them? You really believe that they require me to come on my program to tell them what is going on? Sometimes they know more what's happening here than I know. Because sometimes when the ambassador called me, I say, well, I wonder where she hear that from, because I not hear so yet. So foolishness again, that we are destroying the program. We are not destroying the program. We are saying, let us do what is right and make the program better. There is no greater supporter of CBI than I. I believe in it. It is the most incredible idea given to this country in 1984. Others have tried to copy it across the globe, not just in the Caribbean, but in the wider world as well. Portugal, Cyprus, Malta, all of them have tried to copy our program. We should be proud of it, but equally we should want to protect it. And building a jail, 5,500 shares that can translate into 20,000, 30,000 passports is not the right way to go. Man, I would have feel so proud if you had said the same 5,500 shares to build a new JNF. To come up here and say, let us improve Alexandra. Let us spend on all the clinics around the country. Let us get universal health insurance so that every person in this country can access the health care that they need. Let us diversify our economy and get the marijuana industry finally going. And I'm just talking about fellas having a smoke. I'm talking about people being able to earn. Let us do all of that. Let us ensure that people in Keon and the surroundings have water in their pipes, desalination, drilling, whatever we must do. But no, you're not interested in none of that. Because you got people lined up to make money from the jail. And you know, somebody sent me something and I found it was interesting. They said, let me see if I find it on my phone. I'll save a lot of things, you know. So bear with me. If I can find it, I will speak to it, because I thought it was really fascinating what this young man sent me. Still looking. Let me see. Don't even know what I did with it because I get so much. He said to me, build it and they will come. Build roads and commerce will flow. Build schools and education will grow. Build parks and athletes develop. Build hospitals and the death rate drops. Building prisons. What would be your outcome? Answer, more prisoners. You know, in the United States, and I want our people to understand this, particularly our people who are young, brown, black, and poor. You hear me? Young, brown, black, and poor. Look around the world, particularly in our closest neighbor, the United States. That demographic makes up a large percentage of who fills American jails. Young people, black people, brown people, or poor people. And so ask yourself, when you have invested $2.5 billion in a Chinese jail, who going in it? You see, there is something called the industrial jail complex, where the argument goes, and there are scholarly articles and research that has been done on this, so I'm not making it up. The industrial jail complex, the argument goes that when you invest large sums in these prisons, then you must fill them in order to make that investment work. You can't build a 300-person jail and only have 20 people in there. The dance can't pay for the lights. For the dance to pay for the lights, you must have inmates. And that's where they send out the industrial jail complex, where people are actually encouraged to send people to prison. The slightest infraction, you got in, because the jail needs bodies in there in order to work. It therefore becomes almost like a machine. And the people who are the fodder for that machine, the people who are the feed that goes into that machine, are black people, brown people, young people, and poor people. So you must ask that fundamental philosophical question. When any leader decides that their preferred investment is in jail, incarceration over education, incarceration over health, what is that leader's plans for you? What? You think he building the jail for he and his family? No. So who he building it for? Who's he building it for? You know, to put this in context for you, at 2.5 billion EC dollars, or 962 million US dollars for a 300-room jail. That's what Timo tells us he's doing. Yeah? I got some statistics from the United States. And you know what it says? The estimated cost to build an institution, correctional facility, in the United States varies between 98 million US and 162 million US, depending on the level of security required, capacity, and other site-specific factors. That's important. The most expensive jail in America, this says 162 million. Here, the Harris jail is 962 million. It costs $800 million more than the more expensive jail in America. And what is the most expensive jail in America? They have it listed here. A jail, they say, is a, let me see, U.S. penitentiary, high security. They have one that is in the place called Big Sandy. Inez, KY means what? That's Kansas? Might be. Anyway, Big Sandy in a place called Inez KY. The bed capacity at that high security prison, 1,088 inmates, and the cost is 162 million US dollars. High security prison in America, 1,088 inmates. That's 3.5 times the size of what we are proposing here. And the cost is 162 million US. Here we are proposing a 300 capacity prison at 962 million. 162 million for a high security 1,088 capacity jail in America. Here we are building a jail 3 times smaller, but the cost is 800 million US dollars more. Now these things can't make sense even to a little kindergarten student. I am sure if you go to Ivor Walters, or you go to Maud Cross, or you go to St. Thomas's Primary tomorrow, and you go in the kindergarten class, and you say to them, is what Harris is doing for his jail the right thing to do? They will say, no, teacher. No, teacher. We need better facilities at our schools, teacher. Teacher, we need better lunches, more nutritious. We need better playing fields. Teacher, we need better health care. We need protection. That is not the best thing to do. Well, what he gonna do? Lock us up? I am sure that's what the kindergarten children will say. So imagine you come and telling big people stupidness about the jail is the way to go. And cabinet approved the jail and it's not costing a penny. What do you mean it's not costing a penny? And look at our reputation. Colleagues are calling me from all around the region. You know, a fellow from Antigua got in touch with me, asked me if we can build a jail for them in Antigua. All around the region, we are now known as a jail building country. Any leader who puts incarceration over education is a failed leader. Any leader who puts incarceration over healthcare is a failed leader. And it's time that we start to tell the emperor that he has no clothes. It's not the best imagery, I admit. But it is time that we say the truth and speak truth to power. You're going to tell the people of Nevis they must be satisfied with $400 million over 7 years. When our wage bill alone in Nevis over the same 7 years is almost $800 million. You're saying we should be satisfied with $400 million. And have some people up here parroting, oh, where the money gone? I'm driving on brand new roads every day. They see the Treasury building, they see the Newcastle police station, they see the Orly Pier, they see the CCTV all around the island, CCTV center, they see kitchen up at JLPS, they see housing in Maddens, housing in Prospect that's happening now, housing in Rices, housing up Ghana's. They see development all across Nevis. The Pinnis Park. And the fact that with our economy based on tourism shut down for 2 years during COVID, every public servant and every worker in a statutory corporation in Nevis was paid on time and in full. Every pensioner in Nevis was paid on time and in full despite the lockdown. And people are asking what happened, what was the money spent for? Well, are they blind? Because I'm convinced that even my friend Stevie, and I mean Stevie Wonder, could say, if he were to land tomorrow, he would say, my God, this is paradise. I can see clearly what has been spent here. Somebody wrote to me today and they said they're asking about 400 million. Over $1 billion has been spent here in Nevis. Well over that period of time in terms of development, in terms of keeping the engine running, making sure our public servants are paid on time and in full, our pensioners, those who work for NEVLEC and NASPA and NHLDC. Nobody ever came to a penny and didn't get their money. So when you hear this argument that is being made, it's an argument that is thrown out there for people who are either not thinking or people who are willing to parrot anything for $1. We already heard one of the NRP candidates said Timothy Harris is the economic philosophy for Nevis. Get a few dollars. When you get paid, you say whatever. You just read the script. And that is why we keep saying, brothers and sisters, that whatever our shortcomings may be, and they are shortcomings, we are imperfect. I was in Bath just this evening before I came here speaking to some youngsters. They pointed out to me certain things that could be better, and I have agreed with them. Their voice is the voice of God. I work for them. So when they come and they tell me this isn't quite working or that needs fixing, I must listen to them. I understand that. My simple point is this, that when you look at who is on offer in this election, you have one side, the NRP. They have been bought hook, line and sinker by Timothy Harris. Hook, line and sinker. You have another side, the CCM, that is saying we are not for sale. Nobody's going to buy us. We must always be true to the people of Nevis. Like us or don't like us, you cannot debate that, because that is fact. It's as simple as that. All kinds of cataflam and subterfuge. But nobody's addressing the issues. And I'll come back to that jail, and I'm not going to leave the jail yet. I'm going to come back to the jail. You know why? Today, I heard Les Can, who is the CEO of the Citizenship by Investment Unit. Now, Les is trying to defend the indefensible. So the question then of 5,500 shares and how you get that maths work out, because the very government and the very Minister of Finance and the very Prime Minister, Timothy Harris, said to us and to the nation that the jail costs $88 million. Well, how you move from 88 to 2.5 billion? You know what let's say? Oh, Mark and Sean are wrong, because they're multiplying 5,500 shares times 175,000 US per share. But that is not the right way to do it, because the shares will be sold according to what the market price is. I said, oh, I stood up. I said, oh, and I went back to listen again to make sure I heard what I thought I heard. That here is the CEO of the Citizenship by Investment Unit saying to Kittitions and Divisions that we ought not to multiply the 5,500 shares given to the prison, to the Chinese to do the prison, by 175,000 US, because essentially that is not the real price. The price will be determined by the market. He went on to say, oh, Dominica and all these competitors are there. Well, I didn't know that the sugar cake we're selling. And so if Auntie Bota have sugar cake for 20 cents, then we could say, man, let me sell ours for 15. And when Uncle brought across the world here that we will sell sugar cake for 15, he said he's going to sell it for 10. And so we just keep dropping the price. It is scandalous that that comment will be made, but it really reveals what we all have known to be the case, that the government is a co-conspirator in breaking the law. And let me explain to you what I mean. The law is very clear that under this alternative investment option, the cost is $175,000 if you want to access the citizenship of this country. Very clear. So Sean and I are 100% correct to say that the amount allocated to this jail is 5,500 shares times 175,000 US, because that is what the law provides. What I am hearing today in this press conference is that you can't rely on the law. No. The law says 175,000 US, but don't study the law. The shares will be sold at whatever the market is going to pay. So if the market only willing to pay $1,000 for St. Nevis passport, I hope you all understand. And I was very surprised that no members of the press picked up on it. Because essentially that is what the CEO is telling us on behalf of Timo, that whatever. And you know, I reflected before I came here tonight, you know. And I said that might be the explanation after all. That because they are co-conspirators in breaking the law, co-conspirators in allowing our CBI to be undersold. Somebody tell me they must sell it like bread and cheese. I got a call from an agent in Dubai. And you know what she said to me? She said the St. Nevis passport now is so common that rich families in Dubai buying them all for the maid in the home, the babysitter, the person who do, you know, make up the beds and thing in the house, because they're selling it like sugar cake. Even black pudding costs more money, like sugar cake. That's how they're selling it. And so they recognize that that is the situation. I have drawn it to the attention of the Prime Minister, of the Attorney General, of some individuals who I'm aware of who have been underselling the program. And all the underselling means, the last say you must sell here, instead of that they don't here. Undermining the program. None of them have done anything about it. In fact, I remember Juicy Byron saying, oh, that the people private arrangement. I don't know what that means. Because I remember asking him, so let me ask you something. If a man decides to sell coke out of his bedroom, can he argue that it is his private arrangement? That customers come to him in his bedroom and he sell them cocaine? Or will police go look for the man? I don't understand what it means for you to tell me that this is a private arrangement when you know that the people are breaking the law. And here it is come now full square today, that the CEO of the Citizenship by Investment Unit asked the question, said that we are wrong to use the law to work out the money, because the 5,500 shares not going to be sold at what the law says they should be sold at, but at whatever the market dictates. So I hope you all understand now that your passport is like, I don't even know, a piece of meat down by the market, maybe by the fish market, and you tell the man, lad man, me not pay $7 a pound with them they tall. Them fish they small. Lad man, $5 me willing to pay for that. Another man come and say, nah, you gonna pay $4. And you're haggling back and forth. That is what we've come to. And we must not talk about it, because to talk about it is to damage the program. It is the actions of those who are there that are damaging the program, not those who point out the wrongdoing that is happening. And today we had a clear admission. I've asked the team to isolate that clip for me, because I'm going to come back to it. A clear admission about the man who is a CEO, saying that it is the market that decides the price, not the law. Our law says very clearly what the price is. I didn't realize until today that you could go in the market and whatever the market says, if the market says sell it or give it away for free, then that is what the market says. So I don't want to hear nothing about Dominica and Antigua. Those countries are not my country, you know. I love them. They are my regional brothers and sisters. But I want to hear about St. Kitts and Nevis. So looking and talking about Antigua doing this and Dominica, I am not interested in that. What does our law say? And if our law says that this is the price, why it is we are allowing individuals, whether they're from China or Timbuktu, to undersell. But you understand now why they had to give the Chinese so many shares. You see how the thing coming full circle now? You see, based on the analysis we did, at $88 million, 175,000 US per share, only 186 shares you needed. And the prison bill. I say if you're extra generous to them and say, Lord, you know you need to make something, give 10 times that. You're still only at 1,086 shares. How in good God's name you get to 5,500? It's because they know that those shares are going to be sold for whatever they can fetch. But remember, when I say shares, it is our passport. It is our passport to be sold for whatever it can fetch. So when the rest of the world that is paying attention starts to say, okay, well, this is the position, and therefore, St. Kitts and Nevis, we're going to put you under this scrutiny, this additional this, or whatever, who are we going to blame? Those who did it, or those who say it was wrong? Who are we going to blame? Those who are doing it, or those who have said it is wrong? And that is the problem that we have in our country. We have turned things topsy-turvy, so if you say something is wrong, you are now the enemy. You are the person who's causing problems. But wrong is wrong, you know. And wrong will always be wrong. And nobody's going to shut me up to tell me nothing about, oh, you were in cabinet for 7 years, you didn't say nothing, you were there when this or that. No, wrong is wrong. And if Timo Harris could have been with Denzel Douglas for 18 years, support everything Douglas did for 18 years, voted for 18 budgets, and then come out and tell you Douglas is a vagabond, and people say, true. He could have come to us to criticize the man he served for 18 years. You're telling me that I am disqualified after 7 years? No, I'm not. If some good has happened, I'm prepared to stand up like anybody else and say, yes, this was good. But when bad has happened, we must also be prepared to face it, because at the end of the day, this is our country. And I live here just like you. And I want the best for my country just like you. And we must start to speak the things that are necessary and help our people to understand what is going on. Any leader that prefers incarceration over education is a failed leader. Only in dictatorships do you see leaders building more jails and schools. Any leader that prefers incarceration over education, over health, is a failed leader. And I don't care how much you turn it and twist it, this prison scheme, or somebody call it a prison scam, was intended to enrich a select few. And you, my friends, are not in that number. The country is not in that number. That is the reality. You want to keep people from crime? Educate them. Provide opportunities in the country for them. That is how you keep crime down. Educate them, provide opportunities for them. Let them have work and businesses. That is how you keep crime down. Not lock them up. So a lot of you out there jumping up saying hippie hooray, hippie hooray. Careful that you ain't the ones that Tim targeting for his jail. Because once he done bill it, somebody gonna got to go in there. And I know I'm not going in there with you. So be careful. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 9:30. There's so much more that we can cover and that we ought to be covering, but I recognize that people sometimes want an opportunity to call in, and so I will open the lines and give that opportunity for those who may wish it. It's 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you want to be a part of the show. We have a half an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot happening this weekend. We have the Mango Festival. We are, of course, inviting one and all, including our brothers and sisters in St. Kitts, to come over for the entire weekend and enjoy Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of our Mango Festival. It's all about food. It's all about mango. Beautiful festival. Bring the family. And then, of course, we have Culturama, which is well and truly on. We are again asking you to come over and support in your numbers. For those of you who are overseas, you know you're going to have to come home soon to vote. Come home and stay for Culturama one time. Please, come. Enjoy yourselves. This is your country, and we want the best for our country. Let's go to the phones then and take a call. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, my brother.
I'm not hearing you. Hello?
I'm wonderful.
Hello?
The voice. Can you hear me?
No, I'm not hearing you at all. It's not coming through.
Hearing me and you say, can you hear me now?
No, I'm not hearing you. I don't know what's going on. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Well, I'm not hearing you. I'm so sorry. Could you just probably call back? It looks like the call isn't being patched through somehow.
I'm going to try my best to see if I can.
Yeah, I can't hear the call. I'm sorry. Caller, could you hang up and please try again? Is this another caller? Okay, let me try. Good evening. Okay, so I don't know what's happening, but the call is not coming through to my earphones. So, if you can sort that out, I'd appreciate it. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's, as I said, a lot that's happening, and we're certainly looking forward to the Mango Fest this weekend. We had Devon Libert here with us earlier, who was seeking to guide us in relation to what is happening on the Mango Fest, and we certainly look forward for persons to come over and to work with us very closely. I'm so happy that our people are listening because I'm getting information. Do we know, we're going back to Harris Jail again, do we know that the 2022 federal budget, 22 federal budget, you all want to know how much that budget was? In terms of the estimates, the total revenue and grants estimated for 2022 was $913,572,857. You hear me? Total revenue and grants for 2022 from our budget, $913,572,857. You realize that the jail is 2.5 times the size of our entire budget. You all realize that? At $2.5 billion, the jail is 2.5 times the size. Let me go back to the document again. Of our 2022 estimates of revenue and grants. One jail. I have said it is the most expensive jail in the history of humankind. And it is by far the most expensive project ever undertaken in St. Kitts and Nevis. To put this in context for you, you all know the Park Hyatt? 5-star hotel, employing hundreds of people. Beautiful property. You know the Park Hyatt was built? 225 shares is what the Park Hyatt was built with. 225 shares. And for this jail, they have given 5,500 shares. Well, Lord of mercy, if I could make that make sense, then help me out. As the young people say, make it make sense. Park Hyatt was built with 225 shares. These are the facts. And this jail, they have allocated 5,500 shares. 2.5 times the size of the national budget for a 300-room jail. And you're telling me no jail in that? Jail is in that jail. I'm telling you, jail is in that jail. Let's go to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Good evening.
For whatever reason, I'm just not hearing the call. Something isn't turned on, or I don't know what it is.
Well.
Caller, I'm terribly sorry. I cannot hear you, so I can't respond to you.
Clearly.
So, you're hearing, but I'm not hearing. So, caller, could you say something again?
Good evening to the listening audience right across the planet.
All right, now I'm hearing you, caller. Go ahead.
Yes. I just want to ask you a question there. Would the new correctional prison approved when you were in cabinet?
Caller, bear with me. Let me change headsets, caller. Give me a second. It might be my headset. Caller, can you go ahead?
Can you explain to us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
If the new correctional facility was approved when you were in cabinet?
The correctional facility was not only approved, it was in the budget, caller.
All right. Thank you very much, because at the same time, I didn't hear you expound on that particular point.
Well, you haven't been listening, caller. I said the budget was voted on by all of us. We approved the budget.
About the budget, you're talking about cabinet.
Well, how could it get to the budget if it wasn't in cabinet?
At the same time, you focusing on where you want to focus on. That's all I'm saying. You focus on the...
Okay. Caller,
Okay.
to get to the budget, it would have had to have gone through the cabinet,
Yeah, thank you for explaining.
and it was at 88 million EC. You heard when I said that too?
All of that I heard.
Okay, good. All right.
And I'm on this NF right now, right?
Yes.
I'm asking this question here. Do you think you will end up in the new Timo jail for not accounting for the alleged $400 million sent over to Nevis?
Not at all. There's no chance of that because the work on the ground here is valued far in excess of the crumbs that came over to Nevis.
That's a good night, sir. Thanks for your answer.
Thank you very much. But I can assure you, others may end up in the Timo jail. And it won't be me. Let's stick with the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Wonderful. This is the voice of UNEP here again.
But I tell you, stop calling with your foolishness about voice of unit.
call UNEP, man. It's a party that's going on.
Eh? Go ahead.
Party that's still around.
Yes.
I would like to say my sympathy to the Jeffers family. That's the brother of Dr. Jeffers, who passed away.
Yes.
Also the nephew of Carol Jeffers. I would like to say sympathy to the Jeffers family.
Well, let me before you go on, let me join you because I too should have said so. I knew Stuart very well, and I would want to extend my condolences to his wife Sheila and the entire family as well. So thank you for that. Yes.
Mark, I listen to you, and it's from you I do get the courage to call in, because you give me the courage and the freedom to call in. Now, you speak about swearing in of the Prime Minister, and if I am quoting the Constitution rightly, I think the Constitution says that the Governor General shall appoint the one who commands the majority of the elected representatives. So in my humble opinion, it even means that if the opposition party should have a say, because they are elected representatives. Now, if you are saying that so many of you did not agree with it, then how come that the Prime Minister was appointed? That's one.
I didn't say that so many of us did not agree with it.
But you said you agree.
I said they did not know that the swearing in was happening.
So if they don't know, they didn't agree with it, Mark.
No, but I don't understand. If you don't know, that doesn't follow.
So if you don't know, so what you should have done is, like I tell you already, there is something called an injunction, put it in.
Yeah, I understand all that you're saying. I'm just correcting. Correcting what you're saying. That's all I'm doing. Yes.
Okay. So you didn't know the Prime Minister swearing, all you were an elected representative, but you went along with it.
Well, you didn't hear what I said, or you just like to hear yourself. I've answered you, so if I've answered you, move on with the next point.
I like to hear myself, but you're saying that okay. Let me move on to the next point. To give you the next point then. I was up at Nevis, and I heard just before election when this huge scandal was going on. Mems said, Mems Bar, you know Mems Bar? People said that bar that Timothy said he's going to appoint train Sean to be the next Prime Minister. But Mark said when he comes down with his 3 seats, he wants to know what he's going to do. That was said at Mems Bar. Okay, that is not one of the questions. Hello?
Caller, you know this is Caller, we don't have a lot of time. So if you're calling to tell me what was said at Mems Bar.
Let me give you the...
Well, please get to the point quickly, caller, because you're wasting time right now.
Okay, Mark.
Right.
No, this prison business.
Yes.
You all are saying that I don't think the Prime Minister alone should make a decision to give away so much passport. Because Dwyer Astafan was lamenting it when the cabinet together. Dwyer Astafan was speaking about it when the cabinet was together. Dwyer Astafan speak about the passport. So how come that you are saying that, it's like, this is it, right? And another thing that I am looking at is, it said our cabinet was a dysfunctional cabinet. And I am saying that I heard John say at the press conference that he's going to put you to investigate prison. But I am wondering if all of you is not going to be investigated by somebody else. Because if you all were part and parcel of it, you have to be responsible for it. Anyhow,
okay.
Have a nice evening.
All right, Mr. UNEP. Long live UNEP. Let's go back to the phones. It's 20 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. Let me just encourage speakers. This show is a show that we pride ourselves on discussing big ideas. It has a wide platform. If you're not prepared, don't call. If you want to call, write down something on paper so that when you call, we know what it is you're talking about. Do not call and try to distort, because I am not going to sit here and allow it. So if we're going to have a debate, let's have a debate based on sensible things. When you're going to call in a primetime show to say you hear something up at MEMS, that can't make no sense. And that's why I keep telling you, stop associating yourself with UNEP. UNEP is dead. And I don't believe that you should associate yourself with something that is already up at Springfield Cemetery. So call in and share your points, but be sensible about it. Okay, caller? Thank you very much. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Miss Sheriff, good night.
How are you, my dear?
I am good.
Talk to me.
Matthew 11, verse 28 and 29. Come unto me, all he that labors and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest.
Yes.
Take my yoke upon me, and learn of me, for I am meek and lonely in heart, and he shall find rest unto your soul. Sympathy is going out to all who lose their loved ones. May God continue to bless all of us. The Sheriff, good night. You had a lot of strength. Good night.
Good night, my dear. And good to hear as always. You weren't the first caller tonight, and we did have some difficulties. It turned out it was my earphones, so I'm hearing properly now. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Yes, good night, Mr. Mark.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Good night to you.
Yeah, what you nobody tell you you could know? No worry them, but I didn't know. Anybody know when he was gonna start?
Of
the
course
place
not.
out there start without any one of you know who was in the office with him. No, you don't stop bothering you about all issue. If anybody, your mother bake a cake, say I bake it for New Year's, right? And all years now you smell the thing. You say, Mama, where the cake, Mama? But he eating. Maybe she got it down in 2 barrels, you know. Where you go now? Well, you don't leave you alone and do things. I hear he went on terrible last night down Sandy Point. But you see, if Mr. Sean didn't listen to you all, come up there and you enjoy yourself. Daddy, this thing want to happen. And you all should have seen integrity life up in past. Because all of that, he get him power over. And next thing again, he say Mr. Douglas had the date of the election in his back pocket. He look like he wanders so far down in his boots now, he can't find it. But you don't worry, God, how we going to overcome? How we going to overcome? You hear how much people coming in the place? You hear how much stranger? We got here coming in the place and the man to there, I try to polish up things, but we Canada will know this and Canada will know that. Canada, they ain't nothing. How much acres of field he plan to give him maybe a little 5 acres? He talking for him. He's talking for him, he ain't talking for us, Mr. Mark. Don't worry, the man there, from the time I hear Monday night, I say, oh, shocked. The man ain't talking for us. He talking on behalf of Mr. Timothy, but let it go ahead. They got one other ram-pam, and everything you say, you lie. But when and the truth can be told, you know. The truth shall be told, moon run till they catch it and I gone.
All right. Thank you very much for that. It is quarter to the hour, 10 o'clock. We're taking your calls. 869-469-1616, 869-469-1700. If you want to be a part of the show, remember it's all this weekend about the Mango Festival. We're inviting one and all to come over. And I'm so happy that when Nivisions went out in their large numbers and supported the music festival, some 8,049 passengers moved over the weekend between St. Kitts and Nevis. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Good evening, Mark.
Yes, good evening to you.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Question for you. If the taxpayers of St. Kitts Nevis not acquiring the price of the prison, why is it in a budget?
You're asking why is
why the prison
because
price is in the budget? Why you budget for it and in the country's taxpayers are not acquiring the price? The price is not going to the taxpayers.
Right. Well, that's what I sought to explain, because the prison project was a project that had been approved. That was the price estimated cost, and that would have gone into the budget. All this thing about this alternative investment and the Chinese and all of that would have clearly come after the budget, Because you're absolutely correct. There would have been no need to put it in the budget document.
Exactly.
If in fact it would have no cost. I agree with you. Right?
Okay. All right.
So this was but what I think the reference to the budget is useful for me is to give us a clear indication of what the prison is supposed to cost.
Okay, I understand. Right. Thank you.
All right? Good. Thank you very much. And I think this caller makes an excellent point that I myself had not even seen. Because if it is that it's not costing a cent, he's right. Why is it in the national budget? Because the national budget deals with expenditure and revenue for the country, coming out of the treasury and going into the treasury. So you're absolutely correct, caller. But clearly, this has been overtaken now by this Chinese arrangement. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Mark.
Yes, good evening to you.
This is Cecil Rock here.
Yes, Mr. Cecil
Now,
Rock.
by your law firm, do you all sell investment like that for citizen investment?
No, we don't sell any investments, no.
You don't sell none?
No.
But you ever sell before you stop now?
No, we don't sell anything. We sell legal services. That's all we sell.
Or legal service? So, it's not investment?
No.
Okay, then. Okay, thank you.
All right, you're most welcome. We have about 14 minutes left. We're taking your calls. 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Let's try again. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Mr. Brantley, you are so correct. Mr. Brantley?
Yes, we're hearing you. Go ahead.
You are so correct about the jail.
Yes, go ahead, caller.
They're going to have to fill the jails. They're going to have to fill the jail with St. Kitts and Nevis youth. And they're going to fill them up with Trump charges.
Well, I think that is, the reference I made to this industrial jail complex, because we've seen that elsewhere. Once you build it, for it to work, it has to have inmates.
And you're doing a very good job. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. But that, I think, caller is making the point for me, because once you build a jail, for the jail to work, it has to have inmates. For it to have inmates, it means that you got to put people in jail. Who are those people going to be? Are we going to import prisoners? Y'all remember, I think it was England had offered to build a jail in Jamaica to send prisoners to Jamaica. Is that what the plan is? Who is going to fill the jail? And I assure you, based on what I see elsewhere, it is young people who are black, who are brown, who are poor. Let me go back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark. Hello?
How your night going?
Yes, my night is going well, thank you.
I'm blessed night to the listener very on the internet. Just to indicate of something I heard the Prime Minister stated in the Cabinet briefing today. And I find it, I would like to know is in the grounds of his statement and the context of him emphasizing that the school is the Garcia Senior High School, and he was outlining that the deputy prime minister could not get it done, and the minister who was being elected for number 2 couldn't get it done, and the money was allocated. I'd like to ask, if the money was allocated, why is it that him as the prime minister and being the prime minister of the Federation of Second Needs, how come he could not have made these two gentlemen, as he indicates, didn't make sure that they go and put in the foundation that was outlined from the promise that was stated in 2015?
Well, the answer is simple, because the gentleman is doing what he does best. He's trying to mislead the public. He well knows that in the cabinet he was one of the biggest obstructionists to the Basti High School, because every time something came up, he kept sending back. There were some issues about tendering. The contractors in St. Kitts said that it couldn't work the way they wanted, because they wanted to give it to some Barbados company. And then they devised something with the Barbados company with a management contract. That was also subject to issues. You had lawyers back and forth. Then the insurance issue was a big issue. He was a part of all of that. So he ought not to come to the public now to seek to mislead people that somehow Sean Richards and John L. Powell did nothing to advance the Basti High School. He knows that it is not true. But you're right. At the end of the day, he was the leader of cabinet. So if it is that you had ministers who were not doing and delivering on a major campaign promise, why did he never intervene? Because all the talk now about the six of us, we're bad, we're lazy, we're this, we're that, we're the other. He never fired us until we fired him. Only after we wrote to the Governor General saying that we will go no further with Timothy Harris as leader. It is only at that point, and when he realized that the motion of no confidence was going to be heard, after seeking to exert pressure on the Speaker to no avail, that is when he now hurriedly put together a press conference and said he dissolved and he fired people. He knew what was happening. That's like a man saying he leave a woman after the woman done gone with another man, got 3 children. He now jump up at her, but he leaving the woman. The woman done gone about she business. We left. We said not us. We're not going further down the road with you. So all of this now is what we call in Nevis cataflam. You understand? Because he knows what he's saying is not true.
And I would like to say again,
yes,
on your program tonight, that we are really looking to see that within the political spectrum that is taking place now, that the people of St. Kitts and Nevis be fully aware of the educational aspect of what they're seeing in front of their eyes and try not to maintain these things as a way of the strife in creating problems to one another. Let us bring format into the country that we don't make our people have no animosity towards one another, whether from St. Kitts or from Nevis, in the spectrum of the political arena. I'm asking you all people because I don't vote, Mr. Brother Premier, I don't have vote.
You need to start the vote, you know. That's my recommendation. Because this is your country too.
Let me hear that, sir.
I said I believe you should start the vote because this is your country too.
And we're going to talk on one and two because I'm going to come to look for you because you know who I be and I know who you be.
Okay, brother.
So in the context what I'm trying to draw out here is that we have to really put our people on the premises of understanding what we are doing when it comes to the social and economical and the well-being that is facing around us, either in the local, the regional, and the international, because that is why we got to put ourselves in a format that we don't scare people from the context that we're seeing around us. And when I say the context, I mean the challenges. Because one thing are you looking at now? Centralization of power is a big problem around the world, but the local leaders them try not to adjust these situations. Look at it. Price is rising, inflation is rising, but the people wage is still on the back burner. And here's it now. The political parties them looking to see what they can gain and the weakness of our people. We have to be mindful of how we spoil our people. You all have a safe night.
All right, brother. Thank you for your contribution. We have about 7 minutes left. We're taking your calls. Let's go back to the phones and say good evening. You're on the mark. Okay, caller. Let's try this one. Good evening. You're on the mark.
The mark?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Okay. I'm joining a little bit late, so I don't know whether or not this matter came up before. But I know that I'm talking about a different issue now. The issue with COVID tests. I know that to go to the U.S. and most of the countries in the region now, you no longer need a COVID test.
Mm-hmm.
What is in place now for St. Kitts Nevis?
What is in place for St. Kitts Nevis?
Yes, people returning to the country.
You still now require COVID tests to come into St. Kitts.
To remove that?
I can't speak to what plans are afoot, but my own recommendation is that that be removed forthwith. I don't think it serves any useful purpose anymore.
Okay, so it begs me to my question now. What is being discussed in your cabinet in the Nevis Island administration in that regard? Or is the task force totally tied to the St. Kitts government only?
The federal task force is and takes its instructions from the federal cabinet or what's left of it. And you would have heard the question asked today. I believe it was a CMO who sought to respond to say that we are guided by the science. But my own view is that whilst the CMO is in fact correct and she has done an excellent job, I think she's a model civil servant, I believe it is time now for us to open the country and allow the country to get back to work. I am aware, for example, I was in St. Kitts for the music festival, and I think it was the Friday evening that I am there in a corner with one finger to one ear and they phone to the next trying to help some people who could not check in because they did not get the approval. The following morning, I had a Nivision who was at the airport with young children, can't check in, can't get the approval. And you're constantly having to call somebody to ask them, please, to send the thing through so people could come home. I think that it is high time that we get that rid of it.
So that is my issue, because I've been hearing this, and I've had people who had to call me to ask to call on their behalf. So that's why I was asking, is there anything that NIA, your cabinet, can do to move this forward?
Well, there's nothing that we can do except to make the necessary recommendation that it be moved forward. At the end of the day, the question of the borders, I believe, is properly within the remit of national security, and that is a federal issue. What I think needs to happen is that you and others need to put pressure that these things serve no useful purpose anymore. COVID is with us, and what we can do is encourage people to vaccinate, but after that we have to accept that COVID is going to be around. Just like with
directly where I need to put this pressure, because I think it's long gone. It's gone by its by date, but now directly to where I need to send this pressure.
Well, at this point, the people who have that authority are the remnants of the cabinet that remain, led by Timothy Harris. Right? Those are the people who have the authority. Those are the ones who have made the rules. Those are the ones who continue to adjust the rules as they go. My voice isn't there anymore, so I can't lend my voice to that cabinet. But you are, as a citizen, have every right, because I think what is being done now, frankly, does not make sense anymore.
Okay.
And that's my view.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're most welcome. Can we take some more calls? Is there anybody out there holding 869-469-1616 or 1700? Let's go straight back to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Brantley, what's up?
I'm good, thank you.
It's your boy Red Cap from the airport, man, your boy.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Well, your boy here, you know, man. I like hearing you, man, you know you talk it of your state and you talk it of your night in.
You're good. I'm very grateful to you for calling in, and haven't seen you in a while. I trust all is well.
Well, everything good, man. It's just
Okay.
that, you know, you've been a bit slow, you know.
Right.
You know, with this and so on and so on. You know, you're going to be seeing me soon, man. I mean, you and Jeffers, all you guys, look out for me at the airport. You know, you always make sure I'm okay and everything like that.
All right, brother. Good, man.
Apologize for the way you guys been cheated, man. I just feel so bad, you know, after you was involved with a commitment and then, you know, you get this, you know. You really, you know. On behalf, I know some people too big to apologize, you know. But I just want to say, you know, I just feel so bad because anything that Matt Brantley and Jeffers, I know you got to be good. You all didn't have to make that decision, and, you know, you all come into that and then this is what you all get, you know. But it's the ungratefulness. You know how that go.
Yes.
You know how ungratefulness go.
Yes, man.
And I want to tell you guys, you know, to just continue being strong. It's not an easy road, you know. It's not an easy road, you know. Because sometimes you're all standing up for what is right, but sometimes people don't see it when they want to see it. But sometimes a certain way down the road, they realize, and sometimes they feel ashamed to come back and say, I see what you all are standing up for.
Well, my brother, thank you very much for that word of encouragement. I really appreciate
I want to just tell you.
Yes.
I want to just tell you. Just keep your head up high. People going to try a lot of things and all that kind of stuff, but just keep your head up high, Mark, because I know you're an honest guy. I know that. No matter why you're here. I defend you at the airport. I defend you in town. Anywhere I hear anything, I always defend it. I don't go down easy. And anything with you and Jeffers and Evelyn, I always stand up.
Thank you,
I know you guys.
All right.
I know you guys.
Well, I'm great.
When they're talking and they got to come good, it's not that you just can't talk like that, because I can talk. I can say how I know you guys and what's going on, because who they're supposed to really be blaming, you know, they're not blaming, you know, they're taking the blame from the person and putting it on somebody else. That's a nice one.
All right. Thank you. That's it. The banner struck up. It means we have to go. Mango Festival this weekend. Tomorrow, Thursday, we have a town hall meeting of difference. The Concerned Citizens Movement will be at Caribbean Cove, meeting with the youth. We have a youth forum, and we're inviting one and all to come out, especially our youths. Come with your questions. This ultimately is about you. It's about your future. So please come with your questions. We look forward to being there. Ms. Nikesha Henry will be the host, and the candidates will be there to answer your questions. On the weekend, we will have a number of activities, and you will hear more about those. But it's all about Mango Festival. We continue to invite our brothers and sisters from St. Kitts and all across the region. Come and enjoy all the culinary treats that await you. That's our show. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night. God bless you. Again, for those who are mourning, I express my deepest condolences. Good night, and God bless you.
Views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern